Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it is with my pleasure to give you all a walk around and tour of the 2024 GMC Yukon XL SLT. This particular SUV is going to be the longer version of the Yukon, and on top of that, this one here does have the SLT luxury package. This entails your power heated mirrors, your adaptive cruise control, as well as the HD surround vision camera that this vehicle comes with. On top of that, you are also going to be getting a 10.1-inch infotainment system and a fully digital instrument cluster. With that being said, a huge thank you to Bob Thomas Pre-Owned, which is part of the Thomas Auto Group here in McKinney, Texas, for giving me some time with this one today. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. As you can see with the key, it's a mere traditional GM-based key fob, and it has a nice feel to it. You have your controls on this side, followed by the GMC emblem on the other side. You have your lock, unlock, remote start, your trunk release, your panic alarm, and this is to open up the rear glass. To remote start the vehicle, just make sure the vehicle is locked, and double click the remote start button twice, and the vehicle will start right up. After waiting a few seconds, if you want to, and you can, go ahead and just double click the remote start button again, and the vehicle will shut itself off from there. Starting off here in the front of the vehicle, the SLT is going to be the more luxury-oriented trim, so it is going to give you a nicely accented chrome grille, which looks very nice. You have GMC spelled out across, as well as you have that front-facing camera. When you pan out a little bit, like I mentioned, it is going to kind of give you that luxury feel that you would expect, and it does have a premium look. You also have your front parking sensors on this model, as well as your LED fog lights at the very bottom. And in addition to that, we do have our standard LED daytime running lights with your LED projector headlamps. Checking out our wheels and tires on this one, we're taking a look at a set of Continental cross-contact LX20 tires on 20-inch wheels, measuring 275, 60R20s all the way around. Coming over to the door, this vehicle does have a smart key access system, allowing you easy access to the exterior as well as the interior. By having the key fob in your pocket, coming up to the door handle, just tap this button here once. One beep will indicate unlocking, or to jump on inside. And then to lock it up, just tap the button again, and one beep will indicate locking. The exterior color of this one is finished off in Summit White, with a jet black leather interior. Come over to the door panels, you can see you're going to have some soft touch material on top, as well as down here at the bottom. You have some full wood trim coming across the door panel here, as well as some nice leather stitching. You have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock switches here. And as we come over to our control panel, we do have our power mirror controls. This is to fold those mirrors in, your power windows, your two-person memory seating, as well as your child window lock right there. Come below that, you have a little storage area here, followed by some more storage down here, and an area for a small cup holder. You also have your Bose premium speaker right here in the door jamb. Although that smart key access system, the Yukon XL does come standard with push button ignition. Just keep your key in your pocket or within the vehicle itself, put your foot on the brake, and hit the button to go. Very nice. The Yukon XL does come standard with a fully leather-wrapped, vacuum pinion power steering wheel with controls on the left as well as on the right sides. Left is on the house your cruise control settings here, followed by your forward collision warning button as well as your heated steering wheel. To the right, we're going to have our hands-free telephone as well as our voice commands. And then over here, we have our controls here for that top instrument cluster. With that being said, coming up to that instrument cluster, it's going to be fully digitalized, and as you can see, you do have two main gauges. To the left, you're going to have your speedometer, to the right, you're going to have your tachometer, and in the middle is going to be your driver information system. The very bottom of that, you're going to have your coolant temperature, your range to empty, as well as your fuel gauge. We can cycle through a couple of different things here on the screen via the steering wheel, and they do entail your driver assistance, as you can see there, oil life, brake pad life, air filter life, your blank page, input as well as your info page options, followed by your speed, drive summary, as well as trip 1 and trip 2 information, and your elapsed timer, and tire pressure monitoring system. Come over here, we do have our audio, our compass, phone, as well as your settings right here, which includes your display layout, left side information, right side information, lower gauges, info page options, units, speed warning, speed sign delay, software information, as well as reset to defaults. And then back to our average fuel economy. Coming over here, we're taking a look at GM's 10.1-inch infotainment system, and as you can see, it does look really, really nice in here. This is kind of still running on the older interface, and I say that because the newer ones are going to have that larger 15-inch display. But as you can see, for what you're getting in this one here, it's 10.1 inches, and it does do the job really well. You do have the side menu over here on the left. What we're taking a look at right here is going to be your audio system, which does entail what's playing on the radio, your sources right up there, seat track right here, as well as your station presets at the very bottom. With that being said, you have your Google Assistant, you do have your trailering information, phone, navigation, audio, as well as your home button. So starting things off here, we're going to start off with our trailering information. As you can see there, it's going to give you your trailer light test if you want to go ahead and go through that if you're going to be towing anything anytime soon. This is where you'll be able to pair your phone via the Bluetooth system. You do have the Google-based navigation system, also known as Google Maps, and as you can see, it does look really nice and detailed. You have your Google voice or assistant right here, settings. This is to turn up and down the volume, compass, as well as your zoom in functions down here. Audio is where we started off with, as you can see there. And then we have our homepage, which includes our audio, Google Maps, phone, cameras, Google Assistant, Play Store, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. Follow that up with trailer lights, climate control, settings, Wi-Fi hotspot, Amazon Alexa, My GMC, podcast, as well as news. Starting things off here, we are going to go way over to the left side here, which is going to be kind of a split screen setup between your audio system and your navigation system. And then over here, this is where we'll be able to learn, Over here, this is where we'll be able to learn more things about not just the Yukon XL, but also different features that you'll be able to enable, disable, change, and make it your own. So we've already went through audio, Google Maps, phone, and then we went through our trailering, so we don't need to do that again. We do have our cameras here, which when we click on that, it's going to show us our standard backup camera here. It does come with trajectory, and those lines do move as you turn the wheel. You also have different camera angles down here, which does include your standard backup camera there, zoom in function, or not zoom in function, your top down view for the front as well as the back. You do have a side by side view for the front as well as the rear, a camera for what it is that you're going to be towing, and then you have your trailering on this side here. Come over here, you do have your trailer lights, climate control, which we'll go into that. That's going to allow you to adjust the temperatures here, fan positioning, as well as your fan speed. You also have your climate control functions down here for front and rear. Turn the system off, auto AC, sync, AC controls, as well as recycling. Come over to our Wi-Fi hotspot. This is where we'll be able to connect the Wi-Fi hotspot from the vehicle to your phone. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Amazon Alexa is going to allow you to connect with Alexa via your Amazon Prime account. My GMC is going to be the app that you'll download on your mobile device. You have Google Podcast here, which is being phased out actually, but it is a Google service. And then Google News is also a Google-based service as well. With that said, coming over here to this side, you do have your Play Store. So if you want to download certain apps that you'll be able to do on your phone, it will also be integrated into the vehicle. Google Assistant is going to allow you to speak to the Google Assistant via that button there. And of course, you do have your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility. So with that being said, it's going to wrap it up here for the infotainment system tour here in the 2024 GMC Yukon XL. But before we move on, like I said, this one here does have that backup camera, and that's going to be through a 10-speed automatic transmission right here on the left side. Put it into reverse. Like I said, you do have that camera there, which looks very nice. With that said, moving on down here, we do have our vents. We do have our controls down here for our climate, as you can see. Dual zone setup here, as you can tell. Your climate control function is going to be right here in the middle. You have heated and ventilated seats for the front and front passenger. Rear climate stuff is going to be right here in the middle. Coming back on top, you have a volume knob and tuning knob. You do have seat track, a home button, and a back button. Coming down below that, you do have a wireless charging pad, where you can charge via a USB-C and a USB port. And then over here, you do have a standard outlet. You do have two cup holders here. And then come over to our glove compartment. As you can see, you have this upper portion here, which does give you a good amount of storage space to put some small items in, which includes change or small items. And underneath here, as you can see, you have plenty more space, as you can see, as well as a USB-C and a USB port. On top of that, you also have some very nice leather stitching across, and this is where you can lay your phone down. Now, coming over to the seats themselves, they are very nice and comfortable, as you would expect out of a vehicle like this. This one being the SLT, you are going to be getting the more luxury-oriented interior. What I mean by that is that you do have the genuine leather material kind of on top of here, but you also have this perforations coming down the middle, which is very nice. You also have some very nice stitching and piping on the side bolsters here, which does add a nice touch, as well as around the seat cushion itself. So overall, it's a very luxurious seat, it's a very comfortable seat, and overall, it's not too crazy, but it's also not too simplistic. It does look really, really nice. Come over here to our glove box. It is going to be dampened, and you have a good amount of storage space inside. Some more of that stitching coming across the dash, some hard touch material here, as well as up here as well. You do have your mirror. You do have controls here for your overhead lights, your 3 garage home link, as well as for the trunk adjustment, which is what this is for. You can also fold the seats down back through the front, which is very nice to see. You also have your OnStar right here, as well as Live Agent and SOS for roadside assistance. We do have a visor here with a mirror, as well as incandescent lighting. And then making our way over here to the left side, we do have a lot going on, which includes our electronic parking brake. We do have our different drive modes, gauge dimmer switches, adjustments for the headlights, some safety features in here, which includes your auto stop start function, 360 camera, parking sensors, lane departure warning, as well as your cruise control off switch right there. Now coming over to our drive mode selector, that's going to be here on the screen. You do have a few, which includes our sport mode, normal, tow haul, as well as snow and ice. Pretty cool. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and continue the tour of the 2024 GMC Yukon XL. Coming into the second row of the GMC Yukon XL, first and foremost, sitting in the second row here, this is my seating position, although it could have gone up a little bit more, but my legs are not protruding the rear seat that bad. You do have one seat pocket here, one seat pocket here, 2 cup holders right here. Down here is where we'll be finding our climate control functions, as you can see, as well as our fan adjustment, temperature adjustment, as well as our USB-C ports, followed by your traditional house outlet, which is pretty nice. And then we do have a powered armrest here with 2 cup holders and some small storage. Now, the fact that, you know, this is a 3-row is pretty nice to see, and it's overall very, very comfortable. Now, one last thing I will point out is that this is a bench setup here, which means you'll have to use the levers on that side as well as on the other side here in order to fold the seats down. They do fold down relatively flat, so you can have access to the 3rd row, which, as you can see, is currently up at the moment. But overall, as a 2nd row passenger, not too bad, and this is where I would not mind sitting for a long trip. Capless fuel filler. The GMC Yukon on select trims do come standard with LED taillights. This one is going to come standard with incandescent incandescent taillights back here. You do have your GMC badge, Yukon badge, as well as SLT, your rear parking sensors, and then you do have your tow hitch right there, which this one does come with a standard towing package. Automatic liftgate. Coming inside to the cargo area of the Yukon XL, you have plenty of space to work with, and as you can see, it's pretty nice. With that being the case, you're looking at around 41.5 cubic feet of space with the seats up. As you can see, they don't look that bad, and overall they do a pretty nice job. Now you can use these levers here to fold down the 3rd row and the 2nd row. When you fold down the 3rd row, cargo space will expand to an impressive 93.8 cubic feet of space. And then when you fold down the 2nd row, cargo space will expand to an impressive 144.7 cubic feet of space. Overall, not too bad for a vehicle of this size, and that's expected because this is the longer version of the Yukon. Now, since we're back here, we do have our carpeted mats, carpeted floor mat, and then down here we do have a little bit of extra storage space. And then when you're finished, tap this button here and it will close down automatically. Under the hood of the GMC Yukon XL, we are taking a look at the company's standard 5.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. It produces 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. It's going to be made to that 10-speed automatic transmission, and you can have this vehicle in either two-wheel drive like what this one is, or four-wheel drive. All right, guys, and the last thing we are going to be checking out on this review is this vehicle's window sticker. Here it is. "2024 Yukon XL two-wheel drive SLT finished off in Summit White with a jet black leather interior, 5.3 liter Ecotec 3 V8 through the 10-speed automatic transmission." As you can see, everything on this left side is going to come standard with the vehicle. And then come over here to our options list. We only have one option on this vehicle. This has a standard vehicle price of $67,900. And as I mentioned, this one does have the SLT luxury package. This does include your HD surround vision camera, heated second row outboard seats, your power release seats for the second row as well, power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, memory seated settings. You do have heated steering wheel, rear pedestrian alert, your power folding third row seats, heated power outside mirrors with power folding, as well as your adaptive cruise control, and enhanced automatic emergency braking for $2,530. This one does have that option there being the only this one does have that option being the only one available on this window sticker, and with a destination charge of $19.95. The total vehicle price when this was new was $72,425. And while fuel economy may not be the best, it is actually not that bad, coming in at 15 city, 20 highway, and 17 combined. And we do get an overall vehicle score of 4 out of 5 stars from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So in general, the GMC Yukon XL is not only a bigger version of the Yukon, but you're also getting some pretty nice features. You get the standard engine, you get great technology, and the most important thing is that you have impressive utility on hand. Oh, with that being said, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this walk around and tour of the 2024 GMC Yukon XL, finished off here in Summit White with the jet black leather interior. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.